Look, don't shoot me, I'm just a messenger. Now, have you ever met someone who can point everybody's mistakes out except their own? Accountability is often uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Now, many women and men alike struggle with this because pride and pain often speak way louder than humility. What is going on, my beautiful family? You already know who it is. It's your boy Charlie Mack, and today I want to talk a little bit about the importance of accountability and talk a little bit about where it stems from and how we can fix it so we are able to grow as people in this university we call life. And the first point I would like to start off with is emotions over reflection. Now, women are often emotionally intelligent, but they may respond in emotions instead of reflecting rationally when getting corrected. But if you take a look at Proverbs 15:5, it says, "A fool despises correction, but he who heeds reproof is wise." All right, now the second point I want to talk about is fear of shame or rejection. And I say that because taking accountability can feel like you're admitting weakness, especially if a woman fears being judged, abandoned, or misunderstood. But if you take a look at Joshua 1 verse 9, it says, "This is my command, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God is with you everywhere you go." All right, my third point of a lack of accountability stems from pride and self-image. And I say that because when your identity is tied to being right, admitting your faults may threaten your self-worth. But Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before the fall." All right, let's move over to my fourth point, and this is going to be cultural and emotional conditioning. And I say that because society sometimes condition women to focus on emotions instead of taking ownership, which ultimately leads to deflection instead of growth. And my last key point is they have to heal before ever taking responsibility. And I say this because so many avoid taking responsibility because they carry unhealed wounds from their past. But the reality is healing helps humility take root. Now, let me give you 3 examples for better understanding. We're going to start with the relationship conflict first. A wife blames her husband for arguments they have without acknowledging her tone or the emotional triggering words that she uses. But then when she reflects, then she realizes how both contributed to the breakdown, not just him. Now let's move it over to the workplace. A female co-worker avoids admitting mistakes, fearful that she would be viewed as incompetent. But when she finally gets out of her head and owns up to it, she actually gains respect from the co-workers because it shows that she's human and everybody makes mistakes. Now let's take it a little deeper. Let me give you a biblical example. In Genesis 3:13, Eve blamed the serpent instead of taking full responsibility. This right here is showing how deflection been a human struggle since the beginning. So what I want you to get out this message is that true accountability is not a weakness. It's a sign of spiritual maturity. You see, God cannot heal what we hide. When a woman takes ownership of her emotions, her actions, and her words, they begin moving from blame to breakthrough, from pride to bringing peace. All right, so with that being said, ladies and men alike, this week I want you to reflect on one area where you may have shifted blame or avoided correction. Then I want you to pray for humility and courage to admit your part, to make amends, and grow in truth. I hope this message was helpful to at least one person. I'll be back at you again tomorrow with another one. Until then, I need you to keep your head on the swivel, love yourself, and only help who wants to be helped. I love y'all. I love!